Welcome, everyone, to another live stream with me, Heather Austin. I'm so excited that you are joining me here today. We are going to cover the 10 biggest resume mistakes costing you the job. Now, if this is your first time visiting my channel, I'm Heather Austin from ProfessorAustin.com, and I provide valuable career content here so that you can land your dream job and grow in a career you love. So if you can hear me and audio is coming through and you can see me okay, hit the thumbs up button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so you're notified when I host live trainings like this. Now, not only am I going to be sharing with you the 10 biggest resume mistakes you're making that are costing you the job, I'm also going to be doing live resume reviews. Now, we had hundreds of submissions for this show, and we had the hardest time narrowing down on the resumes we wanted to share with you during the live stream. But I have a couple that I'm going to share with you at the end of our 10 biggest mistakes. And you're going to learn what professionals are doing well and what professionals might not be doing so well on their resume so that you can take the same tactics and apply it to your resume. So again, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from. It looks like I see a lot of familiar faces. Love seeing you guys come into the chat. By the way, I ask you a lot of questions during these live streams. So if you have not yet been to a live stream of mine, make sure you get ready to respond and type into the chat because I ask you a lot of questions. Now, I'm going to jump right into the content, but before I do, I have a special announcement to share with you. We are holding a special flash sale for our career advancement toolkit right now. Now, we haven't done a flash sale on the toolkit since March of this year. This is the only second time we've done it this year. I'm going to share more with you about the toolkit as we go throughout today's lesson. But just so you are aware, that's coming up, and we are never going to have it this low again. So make sure you tune in for that. And guess what, guys? I'm going to jump right into the chat, or excuse me, I'm going to jump right into my slides so that you guys can see what we are covering here today. Now, let me say hi to a couple of you in the chat. Michelle, hello. Good morning, Michelle. Andy, hello. Andy is one of my Academy students. Deborah is here. Gabrielle is here. Let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but hello. Marvin is here. Joe is here. Good morning. Sherry, Mark, David, hello. He says, good afternoon from Dane in New York City. I just want to say I really enjoy your YouTube channel and advice and positivity. Thank you for your help. Gina, so happy you could make it. Patricia, oh my gosh, I love seeing you guys here in the chat. Make sure you say hello if you're just coming in. Let me know where you're joining us from. Even if you are listening to this on the replay, type into the comments down below where you're joining us from today. I have so much fantastic stuff to share with you. So we are going to jump right into it. The 10 biggest resume mistakes to avoid. These are mishaps that are costing you the job. Plus, we are going to do live resume reviews. Now, to entice you to stick around until the end and to listen to this amazing content, let me share with you guys what is happening with job seekers right now who are tuning in to this content. So let me share with you what happened with Rusty. He says, I got a job. Thank you so much for your help. Michael says, hey, thank you so much. I got the job. Jason says, I got the job. Thanks, Heather. Stephanie says, thank you so much for your resume template and example, which, by the way, I'm going to be sharing some examples with you today. She says, I got many emails with job offers. And she said, thank you. Here's what happened with John. He said, hi, Professor. Thank you so much for your help. You don't know who I am, but this video and your channel generally are the most helpful resources I have seen on YouTube for career and job preparation. He said, I had an interview recently and I got the job. And then here's what happened with Stacy. She says, hey there, Professor Heather. I just wanted to let you know that I binge watched your YouTube videos, which, by the way, I hope you guys, if you have not yet done that you will binge watch my videos as well. She says, for the last few weeks to put together a bulletproof plan to get a new job during this crazy time. And she said it worked. Got the job offer today, and it was for the job that she really wanted. So you guys, this stuff is happening. Let me go on to say, she also said, I used your negotiation video and 15K more than what they were offering. So this kind of stuff is totally possible right now. Let me share with you guys one more story. This is from David. He actually submitted his resume for the last review we did in March. And all he did is he submitted his resume. I picked it. I reviewed it online. And here's what happened. He landed a new position with a biotech company fighting to end the COVID pandemic. So he actually said the same thing to me. You probably don't remember me, but by the way, I do remember all resumes that I review. I remember. And he said, he talks about how his example was the one that I shared. Example number 2. He says, I've been searching for 13 months for a new position since COVID took my last job. I have to be honest with you, it hasn't been easy since these last 13 months. And of course, if any of you guys are in the same situation as David, type yes in the comment below if you understand what he was going through. He says, I stopped counting how many times I've been ghosted and told, thank you for applying, but we have decided to go with another candidate. Such a bummer. He says, I'm reaching out to let you know your advice helped and wisdom have paid off. He says, this past week, I landed a wonderful new position. COVID may have taken my last job, but it also provided me a new one. So he goes on to talk a little bit about his opportunity. So by the way, if your resume was selected for this review show, you can have success like David, okay? So let me ask you guys in the chat, what do you struggle with the most when it comes to writing a resume that lands you interviews? So type into the chat your biggest struggle when it comes to writing a resume that lands you interviews. Now, while you guys are typing that in, here is a quick introduction of who I am, in case you don't know already. I'm a career strategy expert. I'm a university professor turned entrepreneur. And again, as I mentioned earlier, my number one goal is to help you land your dream job so that you can grow in a field you love. Now, most of you probably know me from YouTube. So this is where I host live trainings and publish new career videos every single week. In fact, our YouTube channel just reached 10 million views. At the beginning of this month, we reached 10 million views. So we've helped hundreds of thousands of job seekers with everything from resume writing, interview strategies, LinkedIn, job search skills, you name it. We talk about it here on this channel. In fact, if you go to YouTube and you search how to write a resume, you're going to see a bunch of my videos pop up for you. You can binge watch those as well. We talk a lot about resumes here because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. So that's probably where most of you know me from. Now, tell me in the chat again. So I want to hear what you guys are saying about your biggest struggle with your job, with writing a resume that lands you an interview. But I also want to know, what is your dream job title? So we don't want to just focus on our struggles and what might not be working for us. We want to know, what is your dream job title? So Andy mentioned that the summary is the biggest challenge. Patricia says, I work with students, hard to get them to articulate their skills. Oh yes, Patricia, we're going to touch on that a little bit today. Roland said, changing focus for jobs I have not worked in the past. Yeah, so like a career changer, Roland, is what I'm thinking you're talking about. Miss Lardy, I think is how you say it, having been out of the job market for a long time. Yeah, so experiencing a career gap. Mark Anderson says, too much experience, career change after another degree. Yes, totally understand where you guys are coming from. We're going to touch on a lot of these points today, so make sure you guys tune into that. Looks like I'm seeing a lot of career changing, a lot of career changers. So in terms of your dream job title, Marvin says mechanical engineer. I love that, Marvin. Paige says changing career field and listing skills. Let's see. Anna says HR. I love that. Valerie says HR specialist or HR coordinator. So good. I know we get a lot of HR professionals here on this channel, and I love when you guys visit. I would love to even hear your thoughts and your comments about everything that I teach here. So what we're going to do now is let's jump into the top 10 resume mistakes that you need to avoid. And by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, Tori is here. She is my fabulous assistant. She is monitoring the chat for you. She's going to be taking your questions that you have, getting them in front of me, answering any questions that you have during this live stream. Also, she's going to be sharing links with you. So I'm going to be sharing other videos for you to watch, other resources for you to take advantage of. So we're going to be sharing a lot of really fantastic content here today. So Are you guys ready for notes? Get your note-taking stuff out, a pen, a notepad, your iPad, whatever it is, your computer. Type these notes because this is so valuable here today. So mistake number 1 is not using the contact line well. So what do I mean by the contact line? I'm meaning how is that employer going to get in touch with you? Now, here's the thing that we're finding is a lot of job seekers are including their full address. A lot of job seekers are including a random, weird-sounding email address. And a lot of job seekers are not putting their LinkedIn URL on the top of their resume. So let me show you guys exactly what it should look like, the contact information on the top of your resume. Okay, you're always going to have your name. Right below that, your phone number, a really good contact number. Now, excuse me, I've had a cold, so I'm going to have to take a drink in a second here. You don't always have to include even your location. So what we're finding is that it's okay to have a phone number, an email address, and a LinkedIn URL. By the way, we went to Yellowstone this past week. I got this cute mug. Isn't that so cute? It's a moose, and it's sort of like celebratory. I like it. It's a fun mug. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys that. So you can just include a phone number. You can even take on, well, you want to include your phone number. You can eliminate the location if you want to, but you always need to have some sort of email address. Make it sound professional, okay? And then your LinkedIn URL. Now, when it comes to your LinkedIn URL, what we are finding is that candidates that have that LinkedIn URL listed on as their contact information, they're actually much more likely to be interviewed than candidates that don't have it. So make sure you get that LinkedIn URL up there. There is a caveat to that though. You have to have a really good looking LinkedIn profile if you're going to share your LinkedIn URL. So I have a video, and Tori's going to pop this in the chat for you as well. And I'll actually link it in the comments below as well if you're watching this on the replay. I have a video that walks you through how to use LinkedIn. It's actually like a 20-minute step-by-step, do this, then do this. And that's free on YouTube. So Tori will link that up. But make sure your LinkedIn profile is optimized if you're putting your URL on at the top of your resume. Okay, ready for mistake number 2? In omitting important details from your resume, or excuse me, from your summary. So this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. You have to look at your summary as your hook. You are trying to hook them right from the beginning so that you can get them reading through the rest of your resume. So let me share with you guys 5 parts that you need to make sure you're putting on your summary. And I'll show an example in just a second here of this. So 5 parts to a professional summary. You always want to include your headline or your title of some sort. You always want to make sure you're mentioning key skills that are pertinent to the job, okay? You also want to make sure you describe what you can do for the company, okay? So we're not saying, hey, this is what I want out of the job. We are saying, this is what I can provide for you. This is what I can do for you, okay? The 4th part is you always want to have some sort of professional highlights, okay? So these are like your greatest achievements, the coolest things you've done, awards, projects you've worked on, just significant times in your career. You want to make sure those are listed. And then you also want to include core competencies. So let me show you guys really quickly. I'm going to switch screens for just a second here. I want to show you a quick example. Now, this example is inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit. So this is a template that I provide to all of the Toolkit users. They actually get a template and an example to use. But this is what I'm talking about with your headline, your key skills that you're listing. This is what you can do for the company. Okay, that's that paragraph. Here are your highlights, and here are your core competencies. Now, there is some stipulations to this. If you are a recent grad, your summary is not going to be this detailed. You definitely do not want it to be this detailed. You could actually just get away with using the top section of this and be totally fine. The other stipulation I want to mention is with core competencies, you might not need the core competency section on your resume because you have such a plethora of work experience that you might be able to eliminate that, okay? So remember, every resume is different depending on your specific situation. So you have to keep that in mind when you go through and you start typing up or writing your own resume, okay? So that's just an example so you guys can see that. Let's jump into, oh, you know what? By the way, too, I do have a video, and this is a really good one, that walks you through how to write an incredible resume summary. So Tori will also pop that into the chat as well. This one is going to basically walk you through all those 5 parts that I just talked about, but in detail. Okay, so watch that when you finish here. Now, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys type into the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your summary? So 1 being my summary really sucks and I need to fix it. A 10 being, you know what, I have all those 5 parts and my summary is amazing. So type that into the chat. Cindy mentions sounding like, and Cindy, I'm going up in the comments a little bit, sounding like I'm boasting and capable, but not yet getting hired. I have tons of experience, but as a new career, I have not enough. I can do the new job. Give me a chance. Yes. Cindy, I have a lot of professionals that I work with that are in your same situation. So we'll jump on to a lot of that today. Okay, awesome. So Joe is giving the summary as a 2. Sherry is saying 5. Okay, not bad, Sherry. We're in the middle. Valerie's saying 1. Groupreet is giving it a 1. David a 5. Demi a 7. Paige a 4. Awesome. I love these ratings. Andy's a 3. Jason's an 8. Yes, Jason, and I saw your resume. I do think that you are an 8 on the summary. Okay, let's jump into the 3rd mistake because we've got some mistakes to cover today. So overlooking your soft skills. So here's the thing, you guys, when it comes to your resume, you have a couple different types of skill sets that you want to make sure you mention. You have hard skills and then you have soft skills. We used to really focus so much on hard skills. The reason why is because they're so easy to quantify. So we would love to see those hard skills. Those are the things. In fact, let me show you a quick screen here that shows you the difference between hard and soft skills. We would focus on hard skills and we still do. I'm not saying we don't focus on those, but we would place so much emphasis on those in the past because you could tell us exactly to the number and the data that we needed to know and how you performed with those hard skills. Soft skills are a lot harder to quantify, but they are still equally, if not more important in today's job market, because as hiring officials, we want people that are going to communicate well, that are going to be team players, that can lead, that can follow instruction, that can manage their time well. We want to see that. Like, we want to know that you can apply these soft skills to the job market in your new role. So again, you need to make sure that you have a good mix of both of these on your resume. And as I go through the reviews, I'm going to show you a little bit of how they're using them and maybe how we can do them a little bit better. Now, the 4th mistake I want to share with you is a resume that is either too long or too short. So I know I get questions on this a lot about how long should my resume be? Now, there's so many statistics and data out there, and I'm going to just keep it simple, okay? If you are a college grad or a recent college grad, or within the last 5 years of graduating, you should have a 1-page resume, no more. If you have more than that and you are a working professional, you should have a 2-page resume. Now, I have seen recently some hiring officials are saying, I'm okay with a 3-page, but I'm here to tell you that even that is probably too long. I would say get it all into the 2 pages. Now, there are certain cases, like I was in academia for such a long time. I had like a 4, 5, 6-page resume because I'm applying for teaching positions or professorships or whatever that might be. So you have to make sure you follow your industry standard. But again, 1 page if you are a recent graduate or still in college or within the last 5 years out of college, 2-page if you have more substantial work experience, okay? And I'm going to show you with the examples that I review today, I'm going to show you how they've done it well and maybe how some of them didn't do it so well. Okay, the 5th mistake, lengthy bullet points. Okay, so this is when I see this a lot. I get these resumes and the bullet points are like 4 or 5 lines long. And I'm like, oh, this is really confusing. This is such a run-on sentence. I don't even know what they're saying. You've got to keep your bullet points short and sweet. Now, I'm saying a full line and maybe a second line, okay? We don't want to go any more than that. We only want to basically stick to your strongest skills. So we're not going to list everything in that bullet point. I'm going to share with you guys a formula in a second here that you can follow. We're kind of flipping through these fast, you guys, because we've got 10 of them to go through. So mistake number 6, focusing on duties rather than performance. So I see this a lot where the job seeker will just kind of tell me what they did. They'll tell me, hey, this is the task I performed, but they don't ever tell me like, what was the result of that task? So here's a quick formula that you guys can follow to do a really nice, juicy achievement statement, okay, or results-driven achievement statement. You're going to add an action verb, you're going to add a task, and you're going to add the result. Make sure it has all 3 of these things. Now, you can always switch up task and result. So a lot of times it's even more impactful if you lead with the result and then you have the task, okay? Take a screenshot of this if you want to remember this formula, okay? Action verb plus task plus result, okay? And again, we are looking for mainly what was it that you did and what was the result you achieved from doing what you did, okay? Now I have a question for you really quickly in the chat. What's your biggest takeaway so far? So we're almost more than halfway through our mistakes that we've covered. What is your biggest takeaway so far from today? So type that into the chat. And while you guys are typing that in, we are going to jump into mistake number 7, and that is an untailored resume. So I get that you're short on time. I get that it takes time to customize every resume to every position. But let me tell you, just that little bit of effort goes a really long way, okay? Now, if I had to, in fact, let me jump back to my example that is in the toolkit, which I'm going to show you guys in just a second how you can grab the toolkit. If you have just a few minutes every single time you're submitting your resume, at the very, very least, tailor your title and tailor your key skills, okay? At the very least. This has happened to clients of mine where they change these couple things on a resume and they get it sent out really quick and they don't even pay attention to what the other tailoring the other stuff, and they actually land interviews and job offers within a week from doing that simple task, okay? Now, there's a lot more things we could go in and I could tell you to tailor. Well, I would probably say to tailor your adjectives here that describe you. You want to make sure those are super specific to the job, but at the very least, just tailor this top part, okay? And if you have more time, there's a lot more we could get into in terms of what else you could tailor on your resume, but make sure you get it tailored, okay? Let's jump into mistake number 8. Not following ATS guidelines. Okay, so when it comes to ATS, I want to mainly focus on the formatting of your resume because I got a lot of questions over the past couple of days about resume formatting, okay? So when it comes to the formatting of your resume, I don't want to see any tables on your resume. I don't want to see any graphics. I don't want to see any charts. I don't want to see any text boxes, and definitely I don't want to see any columns, okay? We need your resume to be super clean and simple to read. Now, of course, in the toolkit, we have the templates for you to follow. There's a few templates that you can choose from, and you can start populating your information in there. It makes whoever's reading your resume, whether it's an ATS or a human reader, it makes their life so much easier because they can quickly parse through or scan that information and get it in the right locations and figure out really who you are and if you're the right fit for the position. So again, make sure you follow those ATS guidelines. Mistake number 9, spelling or grammatical errors. So this is something that happens frequently when I see a resume is someone will use like the wrong form of a word. And hey, I do this all the time, you guys. I send emails out every week to about 60,000 people, and hopefully you're on my email list, and I let you know, hey, I'm going live, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I have spelling errors in my emails. So I get it. It totally happens, but I want to tell you, with the resume being a one-time thing, you're getting it out there quickly. And it's like your career portfolio. It's your document. Make sure you have someone proofread it and scan for any of those errors, okay? Mistake number 10. This is our last mistake, you guys, including the phrase references available upon request. And by the way, I saw a ton of this over the last couple of days when you guys submitted your resume for this review show. And some of you rephrase it a little bit differently. We never want that on a resume. We want to include a nice, professional, well done page that tells us that tells our hiring official or the employer, our future employer, who our references are, and we submit that when the time is right, okay? So do not put that on your resume. Now, I want to know in the chat, what is one thing? So based on these 10 mistakes, I want you to think about the 10 mistakes we covered. And by the way, there will be a replay of this available if in case you need to jump back and review things. Of the 10 mistakes, or just of the things that you learned here today, what one thing can you do to improve your resume? So type that into the chat. What one thing can you do to improve your resume? Now, you're probably here today because you've had a hard time creating your resume or your CV in the past. You've had a hard time making it easy to read and make it engaging enough for an employer. Or maybe it's been difficult getting responses from recruiters or hiring officials, and you've already been looking for a job for several months now. Or maybe you've been receiving rejection notices, okay, and the company is moving in another direction. Now, everything I've shared with you guys today are things and proven strategies that my current clients and my students are doing to help them land jobs faster than they imagined. Now, I don't have access to like secret tools or hidden resources or expensive overpriced programs. I have access though to a system and solutions that actually work. Now, I want to share with you guys a couple more success stories so that you know what's possible. Anne-Marie landed her dream job with her desired salary and good benefits. So she goes on to say, I got a call from the job I've been interviewing for today, and he said that they are putting together my official offer. She said, so basically I have the job. From the interview, I know the salary will be in my desired range with lots of good benefits. She goes on to say, thank you so much for all the tips. I've gotten my dream job. Here's what happened to Josie. Josie revamped her interview style and landed the job. She says, I want to tell you that your videos helped me totally revamp my interview style, and I landed the job the very first time after that. She says, thank you for your genius in this space. Here's what happened with Peggy. After months of disappointments, she landed a great job. She says, after months of search and disappointments, I landed a great job. I recently joined them, and I am thoroughly enjoying working for this organization. And here's what I love about what she said. So if anything, remember this. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. So she says, if there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, so never give up. Your awesome time is right around the corner. Now, I want to invite you guys to join me inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit. So what is the Career Advancement Toolkit, you ask? It's an exclusive suite of resources, templates, guides, instructions, examples, and video lessons to help you secure your next job offer. It's basically your time to interview and apply with confidence. Now, let me share a couple more success stories from you. Here's what happened with Colleen. She moved through the interview process successfully using the toolkit. She said, I just had a phone interview yesterday that was confirmed to move to the in-person interview next week. She said, your advice has been awesome, especially the career toolkit. I've been passing your name and videos to everyone I know. I love Colleen. Candace landed a job during the ongoing pandemic. She says, I got a job thanks to your videos and templates. They were extremely helpful. I totally think they helped me land a job during the ongoing pandemic. What a crazy time we're living in, you guys. And then Ed received a job offer from a great company. Here's the thing that happened with Ed. And listen up to all of those who might be in this situation. He says, 2 days ago, I posted that I was taking a couple days off from the job search, mostly because I was feeling discouraged and exhausted after 4 months of applications. He was basically done. He went into the job market for 4 months. Nothing was happening. He's like, I'm over this. I'm getting out. But then what happened? Yesterday, I received a job offer from a great company that I accepted this morning. The moral of the story, and if nothing else, remember this as well, you guys. The moral of the story is that when you least expect something, something happens, okay? So keep that in mind. If you guys are feeling anything like Ed did, he says there are things around the corner. Now, here's what happened to Nicole. She scored her dream job after fixing her resume. She said, I just wanted to let you know, with your help, I scored my dream job. I did not hear back from jobs before I fixed my resume based off of your advice. If anyone's wondering if this actually works, take the time to fix your resume. It will work. Now, let me share with you guys really quickly what is inside the Career Advancement Toolkit. There's dozens of templates, bonus video lessons, my perfect cover letter how-to guide, my LinkedIn profile essential starter pack, and the ultimate guide to surviving your job search. And let me tell you something else that we added. A very limited time bonus. So anyone that registers before the timer expires, and I'll show you guys the timer in just a second, you get a bonus job interview confidence training. Okay, so this is a whole entire training on top of the toolkit. Here's what's inside of the interview, the bonus interview training. How to manage your nerves and anxiety before a job interview. And let me tell you, you guys, that's even me sometimes. I've got to learn how to manage my nerves and my anxiety sometimes. How to answer the top 5 most common interview questions. A simple method for answering difficult behavioral-based questions, and the best questions to ask your interviewer to show them that you are the right fit for the position. So all of this is inside of the bonus training. Keep in mind, you guys, we haven't even done resume reviews yet today. We're going to get to those in just a second. And as always, I have to add a fast action bonus. And let me tell you, this fast action bonus will be gone before our resume reviews are complete today. The first 20 people to grab the toolkit will receive a free cover letter workshop with 5 bonus video lessons where you'll learn how to use your cover letter as a mini sales presentation. Okay, so cover letters might not be accepted in the job market like they were back in the 90s, but they are still used, let me tell you, and I teach my clients and my students how to use them in other ways. So we're creating a sales presentation basically. Now, you're probably wondering, Heather, what the heck is going on? How can I get into the toolkit? So the total value of all the templates, the trainings, the guides, and the resources in the toolkit is worth more than $500. But you guys can invest today for just $67. Now, keep in mind, we are never going to have the toolkit priced this low again. Ever. This is the last time we will ever have the toolkit priced at $67. So if you have been thinking about getting into it, you'll definitely want to jump in and join us today. Now, this offer, the $100 off, ends on Thursday, July 1st. So you have 2 days. So on Thursday, July 1st, this offer expires. It's gone. You won't be able to have access to this offer again. So don't wait if you've been meaning to join us inside of the toolkit. Tori's popping links in the chat for you guys, but if you want to go to professораustin.com/live offer, that's going to take you to the exact same place, okay? Before we get into reviews, I want to share with you guys more success stories so you know what's possible. So here's how Darcy received 2 job offers. She says, "Thank you, Professor Heather Austin and team. I have just received 2 job offers after using your process to update my job search a year later and now back to work. Thank you for your support and the help over the last year." Here's what happened with Myra. She actually landed a new job and she continues to get traction. So she says, "Thanks to Professor Austin, her career toolkit, and her videos, I've had so much more traction in my job search. Not too many days ago, I accepted a new role." But here's the cool thing about what is happening with Myra. She says, "However, today I found a voicemail left by another recruiter from a different company." This was one of her first choice companies, who said that they would love to talk more about the role. So now she's like, I already have an offer, but I'm continuing to get traction on my resume and my networking. Amy switched careers and landed a new job. So here's what happened with Amy. She says, "Officially got the new job. I got the offer last week." She says, "I am doing a career change." So she totally switched careers. "I'm now a project manager." She says, "Woot woot." And now the company has amazing benefits. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have so many stories. Let me share with you really quick. Charlotte, she was gobsmacked at how much of a difference the toolkit made in her job search. She goes on to say, "Take the time to work through Heather's videos online and buy her career advancement toolkit. My job search is going so much more effective now that I have worked through my resume, my LinkedIn profile, and now my cover letter." She says, "I'm gobsmacked at how much of a difference it has made." And then here's what she posted later on. She says, "Heather's content is amazing, and through following her tuition combined with volunteering and upskilling, I managed to get a full-time permanent job I love within a few months. Heather's coaching was a complete game changer." Oh, Tania. Oh my goodness. Okay. So here's what happened with Tania. She actually applied, I'm not going to read her whole testimonial. She actually applied to 9 positions, landed 6 interviews, and received 3 job offers. So she says, below is a summary of my stats after having used your tips and templates for the Career Advancement Toolkit. So you guys, people are achieving amazing success just from this little Career Advancement Toolkit. So I'm telling you, if you have been wanting to use this resource and get in and land your dream job, now is the time to do it. Dozens of templates, bonus video lessons, my perfect cover letter how-to guide, my LinkedIn profile essential starter pack, and my ultimate guide to surviving your job search. All this is inside of the toolkit. Don't forget about the limited time bonus for the job interview confidence training. So you'll have access to that right away. And by the way, as soon as you sign up, you have access to this. All this stuff is yours. Fast action bonus, the first 20 people, which by the way, you guys, this will be gone before I finish resume reviews today. So if you want to get in and get the bonus cover letter workshop, make sure you do. It's a free cover letter workshop, 5 bonus video lessons where you'll learn how to use your cover letter as a mini sales presentation. As a quick reminder, this is your investment. Super amazing. It's never, ever, ever. We are never going to be coming here online again and presenting this offer again. So if you've been thinking about this, now is definitely your time. Let me share with you guys what happened with Abraham. So he said, following your advice, landed me my dream job today. He goes on to say, with my limited experience in the field. So he didn't have a lot of experience in the actual field he was going into. He says, I was able to prepare the most amazing CV and cover letter with your advice. He said, I got half a dozen calls from different companies the past few weeks, and each hiring manager complimented the attention to detail on my CV/cover letter and wanted to meet. He said many of them even mentioned that I'm their first choice and they called me first for an interview. Amazing stuff, you guys. And by the way, we get these results every day from our wonderful clients and people out there on the planet. So I appreciate you guys being here and sharing these stories with me as well. Erica accepted a remote position as a technical writer. So here's the cool thing about Erica. This is when we were all kind of going into lockdown. She says, I'm thrilled to let you know I've been offered and accepted a remote position as a technical writer. She says, today I received a package with all the equipment. So how awesome is this? She got her equipment, her laptop, her 2 monitors, et cetera, et cetera. She goes on to say, I am thrilled. Do not ever be afraid to tell your concern about your fears of pay. So again, she negotiated her salary. And then let me share with you guys really quickly what happened with Terry. So Terry says, your guidance helped me polish up my LinkedIn, rev up my resume, helped me ace the interview to get a fabulous job offer for a position that I believe I will really enjoy. And I'm a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job market. I couldn't have done it without you. So you guys, we are seeing amazing things from our Career Toolkit users. If you guys want in on this, go to professoraustin.com/live offer. Tori also has the link for you down in the chat. She's popped it there a couple of times, and it is also in the comment box down below if you are watching this as a replay. And yes, Valerie says, so we only pay $67. Yes, you guys, this is like an amazing, this is never going to be this again. So make sure if you guys are thinking about joining, make sure you definitely get in and do it. And by the way, once you're in and you're looking at your templates and you're looking at the bonuses and all the amazing stuff, if you have any questions, let me know. Just send me an email, because yes, we have Tori in my inbox. We also have our free Facebook group. By the way, Tori, if you could pop the link to the free Facebook group, if those anyone that's here today, if they are not in our free Facebook group, it is such an amazing opportunity to network and connect with other people. We have close to 10,000 people in there. We have, there's other amazing career coaches and recruiters and hiring officials that are in there that help answer questions. We have Jessica, who is our content manager. She's in there. We have so many amazing resources for you guys to help get you off the ground. If you have not ever seen these before, definitely take advantage of them right now. We are still going to do resume reviews. Just remember, we still have resume reviews to do. Let me pop over really quickly too. I want to give you guys a glance at this page before we jump into resume reviews really quickly. Let me show you this page really quick. So this is the page that you'll actually get to. This is just further down the page. It tells you what's actually inside of the toolkit, so you can kind of go in and look at all the juicy stuff that's in there, the bonuses, all the different things that are in there. Excuse me. So make sure you visit that page and just glance around, okay, and look at all that great stuff that's in there. So we have a lot of stuff going on here to help you guys with your job search. So I want to jump into reviews, but I also want to make sure looks like we have a lot of people joining us. Tori's telling you welcome as she's in the chat. So welcome everyone that's coming in. Alex, Josephine, Jolene, Michelle. So happy to have you guys join us inside the toolkit. You will not be disappointed. Sherry says, I've been making my way through the toolkit and it's fantastic. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Sherry. Okay, let's jump into reviews really quick here, you guys. Let me just get this kind of situated. So I'm going to go with, and by the way, if you have questions, make sure you pop the questions in, because I really want to make sure we get any questions that you have answered. I know we covered a lot of stuff, you guys. It looks like there's a ton of really good questions. I'll answer a couple of them before we do these reviews. Joe asked, what if you have a fairly new LinkedIn account? That's totally fine, Joe. What I would say is go back to the video that we shared earlier. It's the LinkedIn tutorial video. That video is free on YouTube. Watch that. It walks you through like every part. Like I literally say, click this button, click here, do this, upload your photo, do this to your photo. Like I literally take you step by step through LinkedIn. So make sure you watch that video, because it will really help you in terms of just knowing what to do on LinkedIn. It's confusing at first, but once you start to use it, it's actually such a fantastic tool. So really good question. Okay, Valerie asked about government resumes. Yes, those are very specific, Valerie. I actually do have a professional resume writer that I work with that his focus is basically on federal resumes. So anyone that's going to apply to for a federal position, if you would like me to put you in touch with him, or if you need resources on that, I don't have any videos that specifically target that. I probably need to get some videos out there because I get this question a lot. But feel free to email me at heather@professораustin.com and I'll put you in touch with him. Oh, so many good questions. Okay, let's do these reviews, you guys, because this is like one of my favorite things to do. So here is a resume that I received, and this is someone that's a systems administrator. And by the way, if I remember right, this is actually someone that recently purchased the Career Advancement Toolkit like within the last day. And I don't think you've seen yet, if you're here on the live stream, I don't think you'd seen yet the new template and all that. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I would do and kind of how you're going to transition this resume into the new template. In fact, let me get my glasses on, you guys, so I can see this. It's a little bit small on my screen. So first of all, let me tell you what I do like. I do like that you do give us your title here at the top. I do also like that I can read your headlines. They're nice and clear. It looks like you've even bolded some things to let me know like that's the title. So I do like that it's really easy to read in terms of the flow of it, okay? And you do have some pretty good statements here. And when I say statements, I'm meaning like your achievement statements, okay? There's some good achievement statements here. You have, let me just keep going down. I like how you have your education credentials and certificates, professional development and awards, and technical skills and competencies. Now, let me give you a quick overview of what I would do, because we have a few more resumes that we need to get to. I would really pay attention to the formatting first. Let's start with the formatting. What I would love to see you do is I want to see your name in just like a horizontal line rather than like your name and the contact information stacked on one top of another, okay? So what you'll do is and I know you have the toolkit, by the way, so you'll go in and I have the template that you'll just start popping your name into all this area, okay? You're gonna pop your name, your contact information, so on and so forth. Then you have systems administrator. That's what you're going to put in place of vice president of sales, right? So follow this exact same template. And you can start putting your stuff in here. Now, I know you put your clearance level in here. I don't think I would, well, I know I wouldn't have that right there. What I would do instead is I would love to see, this could be even a key skill of yours that you list under the title. So you could list that as the very first thing, okay, if you wanted to. That's one way to do it. Remember, there's multiple ways to do this, you guys. But this is just kind of how I would approach it to get started. The other thing I would do is I would find systems administrator. I would find what other key skills do you have to have in order for them to say, this is our person, by just them looking at your title and your key skills, okay? And what I mean by that is then let's get them to move into the summary. So I would get a nice little summary up here. You have your professional summary in bulleted points. I would not do bulleted points. I would take those bulleted points out, and instead, again, I'm going to keep popping back and forth to this example, you guys, so you know how to do it, okay? Instead, I would take it into a paragraph of information, okay? Again, this is where, if you guys go back to mistake number 2, this is where you're basically going to be looking at, you're telling them how you're helping them, okay? So you're solving a problem for them. What is that problem that you're solving? So that's how you're going to do it. You're going to give me that paragraph. Then what you can do is you can start listing some bullet points under that. That's totally fine. So you can take, you could even take a couple of these and use those as your bullet points. Now, what I want to say here when you do that, and that's again going to be your professional highlights, okay? You don't have to have a section that clearly says professional highlights. Notice in this example, I don't have that section, I don't have that title. I could put that title in if I wanted, but I don't have that there. All I have is just the bulleted points right under the summary. And again, recent grads, you're not going to have all this, okay? You're mainly going to just have you're mainly just going to have this summary. That's what you're going to do. You might not have all those achievements, or excuse me, all those highlights just yet. That's okay, because you're keeping to a one page, so you're not going to have some of these bullet points. So that's what I would do with that. Then the next thing, which I'm not going to get into all the detail here. And by the way, you guys, I do offer resume reviews where I do review resumes just like this. And in fact, Tori, I don't know if you have the right link for that. Let me see if I can pop it in for you guys, because I do review resumes. And if you're interested in an actual resume review of, like, without being on the live show, if you don't want to be present here and being on the live show, actually, I think you do have the link. I'll pop it in anyway, because I've got it here. If you are interested in a review, then go to this link I'm about to pop into the chat, and I would be happy to review your resume, okay? And it's just a recording of me walking through your resume, basically just like this, but I go into a lot more detail. Keep in mind here, resume number 1, I want to see as much data as possible. So anytime you can share with me numbers, time frames, rates, any like money, dollar amounts, any of that kind of stuff. So for example, you have managed a team of 6 registry clerks. That's a fantastic start to that statement. But what I want to know from there is, because of your management, like you managed that team of 6 registry clerks, what happened? What was the result of that? Did it increase productivity? Did it increase customer satisfaction because your management skills were so great that you taught them better customer service? Was it more accurate? Like when you say registry clerks, like they were messing up less when they were taking orders or whatever it is. Like whenever you see a statement like this, we got to get even more specific. Okay. So again, double check that. Now, you could include a competency section. I know that you have something down here. I'm actually okay with it at the bottom. I don't think you need to have it at the top, but you again have to see where your other data flows, okay? Now, really quickly, I'm going to go through, okay, I like that you have your professional experience. So again, I would love to see notice here, rather than just an underline, I have an entire line that separates the page so that that breaks up my view as a reader and says, okay, I'm about to enter the experience section. What I would do here, and this is why I wanted to review this resume, because you have a lot of these statements in here. Furloughed due to the unfortunate effects, seeking employment opportunities. I'm a little bit hesitant to have you put that in there. What I would like to see, however, the furloughed, this one doesn't bother me as much. I think that one's okay, but seeking, this one, I almost want to see you talk about that in your cover letter, or I almost want to see you mention that like in an email to an employer or something to that effect, rather than, because look at what happens. You're saying that you were at the Pentagon, okay? That's freaking awesome. And I get lost in, before I can even read that you were there, I get lost in that you were seeking employment opportunities from 7/9 of 8/9. Like, isn't that just a month? Like, you don't even need to have that in there, because that distracted me. I was like, oh, and then the dates confused me for a second, and I would take that out. And then I would also remove temp. Like, I don't love to see contract temp or anything like that, because that's something that you can discuss in an interview or more on a cover letter. But you want the main focus to be that you freaking worked at the Pentagon as a desktop support specialist, and here's all the awesome things you did. I don't want to be thinking about, as I'm reading your resume, that you were temp and that you were seeking employment and blah, blah, blah. Like, just give me all the cool things that you did and tell me the place you worked, the title, so on and so forth. And here's the other thing I'd love to see you do, resume number 1. I would love to see you place it where you have the company name, and then the title right under that. So you're listing a lot of it on the line, which is fine, but let's kind of separate the details just a little bit, okay? And you have that template, so you'll be able to pop things into there pretty quickly. Let me see, there was something else. Okay, let's address really quickly, you guys. I got to address the 3-page. I want to get this to 2 pages. I don't want to have this 3rd page randomly down here. So I do like that you have a technical skills, education, professional development. I want to see what can you remove up here at the top to get all those things up onto the 2nd page. Now, what it means, is that you might not include, I'm trying to see if there's anything that is later on in your career, or that was like way back when, that we could take care of or take off. It doesn't look like this. And by the way, I would actually put education first. List education credentials before your technical skills. Okay, that's much more important. Especially since I know you're going for the CompTIA, the A+ certification. I know you're going for all those. I would almost want to mention those up at the top if it's that important, meaning in the summary, say something about that. Okay, let me show you quickly too, because I want to get to the next resumes. I would take any of your older experience that you have, and I would put it in this format. So if you guys can see this, hopefully you can. It says company ABC, the title, and then the dates that I was employed. Take it to that format so that you're not taking up so much space, or eliminate the position altogether. So a quick tip for you guys too, you can actually have, I wouldn't say to go any further than 10 to 15 years back on your resume, because most employers are looking at what you're doing right now or what you've done in the most recent past. Like, yeah, 10 years is cool, and like, especially if you had some super awesome job, but they're going to be focusing on what you're doing right now. So we don't want to waste time with all this stuff from like 20 years ago. Okay. So try and eliminate that. But overall, I think you have a great start. You have access to the Toolkit templates, so you're going to do amazing with this. All you have to do is cut and paste, get all your stuff into that format, eliminate, so edit all the stuff you might not need, and go from there. Okay, let me know, you guys, really quick in the chat. I want to know, let me pop my face up here so you can see me. I want to know really quickly, what is the biggest takeaway so far? Now, I know I asked you guys that a little bit earlier, but tell me in the chat again, what is your biggest takeaway so far from today's live stream? Just the resumes. We talked about the mistakes. We talked about the summary. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Hopefully what you guys are learning here today, you can take and go out and actually apply to your own job search and start seeing immediate results, just like all those people that I shared their testimonials with you. Let's see. Awesome. Looks like we have amazing people jumping in and joining us in the toolkit. DANYC had a question about core competencies. Let me just read this really quickly. I was told by another career coach that tabling core competencies in a resume does not get picked up by job scanning machines, and it is best to create a second paragraph under profile summary. Is that true? Yeah, so here we've experimented with this quite a bit. So I actually have my my students and my clients experiment, and I experiment. We're always testing things to see what's working. Let me show you really quickly the, let me get to this again. Here it is. Let me show you this really quickly. So we actually used to have this, not in a table, but it was like a text box. And what we found is that it was getting all jumbled up. So like if you try to submit and an applicant tracking system was reading it, it wouldn't read the actual text box. So again, that's why I say no text boxes. In the toolkit, the template that we provide, this is not a text box. It's just one line after another, okay? So yes, I totally agree with your career coach friend on not having those tables or random text boxes or anything like that. And that's why we update these frequently. Like if we see that something's not working, for example, let me tell you one thing that we're kind of noticing. And this is, I haven't taught this yet because we're still kind of experimenting with this, is capitalization. So that's another thing that if something's going on and your resume is not somehow making it through, but again, I'm always like, get your resume to a person. Whatever you can do, get it to a person, and this won't matter. But a lot of times we're seeing now that you could actually, instead of experience being capitalized, it could just be sentence case. Does that make sense? So just the E would be capitalized. That's a really good question, guys. And by the way, I have to mention, if any of you guys are on LinkedIn, this is our first time. We're dual streaming to test again. I love YouTube, so our main channel of throwing things out is on YouTube. But if you're on LinkedIn, I would love to know in the comments of our LinkedIn live stream, say hello, give us questions. Tori's also over there too, monitoring to see if you guys are there, and you know, if you're there and we can live stream to you there, we'll do it as well. Okay, let me just see some other questions that you guys might have. Let's see. Okay, these are your guys' takeaways. Rebranding my bullet points. Yes. Roland says summary and updating LinkedIn. Yep. Carson says clean it up and make it easy to follow. Danny says formatting. Yes, you guys. Awesome. Let's see. Manjuala says, I hope I said your name right, says, need to work on experience section in my resume for sure, but on what I learned now. Thanks, Miss Heather. You're so welcome. Let's see. MNFLL says, these tips are mostly for people with several years of experience, need something for just a little bit more than entry level. Yes, I do work with a lot of entry level and very experienced individuals. A lot of the stuff that I'm sharing still applies to entry level. You have to remember, if you're entry level, you're going to just basically strip out a lot of what like an advanced professional would do in their resume. Okay. But you still need to follow those same things that I shared, the 10 mistakes that you might be experiencing. Still follow those. Cindy says, just need to clean up my wording and would love you to look at my resume as a review. I would love to look at your resume. Yes. Okay. Let's do a couple of more. Sharon says core competencies. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. This one I really want to share with you guys because this one, let me first tell you guys what I like about this resume, and then I'm going to go in and explain kind of what we can do better here. So first of all, I have a lot of really good, fantastic data to work from. Meaning, if I have any questions about like some of the things that you've done or whatever, I know it's all here. So I like that. I really think that that's fantastic. I love that you have your sections very clear and easy to read. So we have summary, we have highlights and productivity, we have experience, we have education, so on and so forth. Now notice, you guys, too, I actually converted this, or maybe you converted it for me as a PDF. I can't remember the person that submitted this. But notice when it's converted as a PDF, it's giving me a second blank page. When you guys convert your resume to a PDF, you got to make sure any of those extra pages that the PDF includes, you got to delete those before you send it off to the hiring official, okay? Now, let me mention this really quickly for this professional, because you do have, this is a one-page resume, right? But if I'm reading this properly, you actually could be a two-page resume. What's happening here is everything is so condensed and there's so much on one page that I'm almost like overwhelmed. Like I'm like, oh gosh, where do I start? Like I really so much want to read this paragraph at the top here. But at the same time, I'm like, oh boy, that's a lot of stuff. Like I need to have things broken up a little bit better. I need it to be a little bit easier to read, okay? So here's what my recommendation is as an experiment for resume number 2. I would say, let's pull this into a 2-page resume and let your resume breathe a little bit. Let's see what we can do with that 2-page format. And in fact, I would say, I don't know what font you're using on this, if it's like a 10-point or if it's lower than a 10-point font. Let's increase the font size a little bit and let's see if we can get this resume to breathe. Meaning, notice how experience, if you guys can see this, experience is really close up to that paragraph. I need some space there. So I would love to bring it down. Okay. Now, in terms of the content and the actual information you're sharing, I think it's amazing. I think you've done a fantastic job. In fact, let me just read this first sentence to you. Highly organized, versatile, and motivated professional with 8+ years of experience working in medium-sized and large multi-international organizations, providing yada, yada, yada. This is perfect. The only thing I would recommend here is you said highly organized, versatile, and motivated professional. I want to know what type of professional you are. Like, I don't want to just know the word professional. I want a title. So for example, I want to see you give me your title, give me your 3 key skills, and notice in this example, you guys, this is in the toolkit, I say reliable, energetic, and resourceful sales, marketing, and consulting professional. You're just telling me professional. I want to know what type of professional, okay? You could even bold sales, marketing, and consulting professional if you wanted to in this example. In fact, I probably would bold it. But on resume number 2, I want to see this exact same thing on your resume. Give me a little bit more space. Most of the content you don't even need to change, which you're already like 10 steps ahead. But I want to see, like, you have professional summary here. I want to know what title, like what position are you going for? Who are you? Like, give that to me at that top part. And then let's give it a little bit more breathing room. I just want to see really quickly too if there's any data. Let me tell you really quickly, the thing I love about this resume too is you've done such a fantastic job using the white space in your bullets. Now remember I said, you guys, one of the mistakes I see is someone that has a bullet points that are just like super long. You're doing a really good job by keeping your bullet points to either 1 or 2 lines, and you're using the entire line, which I really like. Like, the other pet peeve that I have is when someone has a bullet point and it's like there's 1 line on a second line or 1 word on the second line because there's all that space. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're wasting a whole entire space of your resume. Either fill it in with some data and some good information, or eliminate some words in that top area to bring everything up 1 line. Let me just see. I love it. And you have some really fantastic, noteworthy organizations that you've worked for as well. So bring those to the forefront. I just think this resume needs a little bit more breathing room. The The other thing, so here's the thing too, resume number 2 that you're going to encounter is as you start to pull this onto 2 pages, you can start adding other sections because you're going to have a little bit of space. So I like education. I like your experience education, but I would also love to know other things about you. So like if I show you guys this example here, I wonder if you can even see. Yeah, you can see the bottom. Notice we have a technical skills section, and then we also have a professional and volunteer involvement section. So I would love to see some other items. Now you've included the core main things, which is awesome, and that's what you want to do. But I would love to see, give me something else, like kind of add a little bit more in terms of like, I want to know a little bit more about you that it can kind of help me get a better idea of maybe like continuing education, certifications. Like, are you pursuing anything else? Other than, your amazing work experience, which is already amazing. But again, let's give this a little bit of breathing room. And I would say last thing on this, with your summary, let's get a nice juicy paragraph, which you already have here, but then give me some bullet points. Well, you do have your bullet points here. Oh, geez. I don't know. I think what we need to do, let me show you this. I think what we could do is you could add a technical skill section using this stuff right here. Okay. And then bring the professional highlights up, and then to let everything breathe. And by the way, I would love to know, resume number 2, when you do this, if you get this done, send me a version to look at. I would love to see a before and an after, and let's test and see if it's working for you. Awesome. Okay, you guys, give me a yes in the chat if you are learning something today. If you're learning something and this is valuable to you, type a yes in the chat. I'm probably only going to get to one more resume to review, just because we cover a lot in these live streams. And I do want to answer some questions. Type a yes in the chat if this is helpful to you. Let's see. Okay, Sharon asked a really good question. How much is too much? How many bullet points per job? This is a really good question. I actually get this question probably every day. So I would say, Sharon, when it comes to the bullet points, there's not like a designated set amount. Your most recent experience is the one that the employer is going to focus on the most. So I would say, if I had to give you a general number, I would say 4 to 5 maybe, okay? But then that depends on how long are those bullet points. Again, we don't want them to go on to 3 lines, but you might only have space to do 4 lines to keep that all onto that first page. Then you're going to move on to the next experience level, and you might have 3 to 4 lines of text. Hang on, guys. I gotta cough really quick. Okay, we're just getting over a cold in our house. I don't think it was the big nasty one, but we had a little cold here. So, okay, awesome. Oh, Fire Academy Education says, so disappointed I missed this. You can actually go and listen to the replay, okay? There is we have been online now for almost over an hour, so feel free to jump back and listen to all the good stuff that I talked about before. And by the way, let me share this with you guys one more time too. If you've not yet grabbed the toolkit, this is the last time we are going to be offering the toolkit for this low investment that it is today. Go to professораustin.com/live offer, or use the link in the chat that Tori has provided, or the link down in the comments, so that you can grab the toolkit. So many amazing resources. Again, this is like this this toolkit has helped thousands of people just get a leg up in their job search, land their dream job offers, just move forward in their career. And it's been amazing to see the success. And this is our last. In fact, we haven't done a flash sale since March of this year. I don't know if we're going to be doing another flash sale this year. We just kind of throw these things out sporadically based on needs that I see out in the market from you guys. So again, make sure you grab that if you have not yet grabbed it. Okay, let me jump into this next resume. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is resume number 3. Let me close this box out so you guys can see the screen a little bit better. Okay, so resume number 3. I actually like the font that you're using on this resume. I don't think it's a bad font. I'd be curious to know which one it is. But okay, let's talk about the things that I really like. Name is nice and prevalent at the top. Contact information is nice and prevalent. I love that you have your all the sections are, I can see those really well, like your technical skills, experience, so on and so forth, education. I actually do like that this is on a 1 page. So this resume looks really good on 1 page. I don't know if you would need to go onto a second page here. Let me just see. Yeah, especially, so by the way, my friend in the chat that said these tips are for people that have lots of experience. This resume is from a recent graduate. So I'm going to kind of be walking through a little bit of that so that you guys can see if you are a recent grad or you might have less than 5 years of work experience, kind of what your resume should look like. So I actually really like that this is on 1 page. Education. So graduation was 2017. I mean, you're still pretty close to being, well, it's okay. I actually think that's okay at the bottom. Can you guys see that? Oh, you can. Okay, good. So a lot of times, let me just make a note really quick on recent grads. A lot of times what will happen is you can have that education at the top before your work experience. Now, 2017, I think you're okay putting it down at the bottom and having that because you have such a fantastic array of work experience and positions listed here. I think that that's probably okay. Okay. This is the thing I would like to know though. I know that you're a full stack web developer and I know that you want those technical skills to be kind of at the forefront. I would highly recommend though, I would love to see your resume keep similar to what you've done, but I would love to see your title as a full stack web developer right here at the top. And then I would love to see key skills that full stack web developer needs. Okay. So for example, if I had to pull from your resume, you could even have put in some like you could have JavaScript, TypeScript. I would lead with also potentially, excuse me. I would lead with potentially the latest and the greatest software that full stack developers are using. If there is a new technology or a new software that you're using, I would put that as a key skill. I would pick like 3 things that a full stack web developer needs to have, and I would pop them in right here so that if I'm looking at your resume, I know right away that's who you are. Now, the other thing I would recommend too is I would still love to see a summary from you, and I would almost love to see these technical skills listed after your education. I know that's a really important thing because I do work with a lot of developers and engineers, and I understand that the technical skills part is really important, but I would still love to see some sort of summary from you that you can then go into detail about some of these things. And I almost want to see like some achievements or accomplishments and how, if I'm going to hire you, how are you helping me? Like, what is your greatest achievement? What do you specialize in? What is your expertise in? I would love to see that. Sorry, I had to do another cough there. Okay. So I would love to see that summary up there, and then let's lead with the experience. I like how I can see the title. I did cross out your corporation names. I think that's fine. Everything's formatted nicely. The one thing I want you to keep in mind though, this is what I was mentioning on the other resume, is notice how you have integrated Firebase authentication for registration, password reset, login, and account management. Notice that you have management on one line. There is no need for one word to be on one line. Let's either try and use a different word or figure something out or change the margin a little bit so that management can be up on that first line. Now you've done really well with these other statements in terms of the length, and the white space that they're using. But again, I want to see management up on that next line so that you're not wasting that space. And again, you're going to have to keep in mind too, if you decide to put a summary on here, think about how is that going to affect the rest of the space. Now you might be able to, if I show you this example really quickly, you'll notice what I've done here in the technical skills section on this resume. Rather than listing it in a bullet point so that we could save space, we have it listed in like a horizontal fashion. So we're listing the skill with a comma, and another skill with a comma, another skill with a comma. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. Okay. So make sure you have it in terms of, like, you might want to do that with your technical skills at the end of the resume and then lead with the summary. But you also might have to evaluate, I may have to take a bullet point, and this goes to the individual that asked, I think it was Sharon, who asked about how many bullet points per position. You might have to remove a bullet point from one of these positions to get everything to fit on that one page. The other thing I want to mention with bullet points, this just came to me, I would mention your most important accomplishments and achievements in the first bullet points, okay? Because then if they're at the very end, you're like, oh, I could probably delete that last bullet point because it's making my resume go on to 2 pages rather than 1. So list the most important bullet points first. There's one more thing. I forgot what I was going to mention on that. Okay, really quickly, I would do, okay, I like how you have 3 bullet points on your full stack web developer position here. I like that. I don't love the 2 bullet point thing. I know that you're going into, I wonder if you guys can see that last. Okay, good. You can. I know you're going into 2 lines here on each of these bullet points. I would rather see you get these each up onto 1 line and try and find a 3rd bullet point to put here. If you can't find a 3rd bullet point to put here, I'm okay with the 2, but that's going to also notice that we've already saved 3 lines of text just by fixing these little things here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But overall, I think your formatting is good. I think you have a great start. I would just make those few little tweaks to your resume. Send it out, see what happens. Let me know if you make the tweaks and you want me to review your resume again. I would be happy to take a look at it, okay? Let me just see where you guys are in terms of the chat. Looks like we have some amazing people coming into the Career Advancement Toolkit. I'm so excited for you guys to get started. Start on it today. Work through it today. You could have a new resume by the end of today. That's how fast you can go through the content. There's all the bonus materials in there as well for you. Send me questions if you have questions about it. You should all have access. Everyone coming into the toolkit will have access right away as soon as you join us. Okay, Sharon says ATF software prefers a sans serif font from what I've been told. Is this correct? In terms of fonts, here's the thing. You can use a serif or a sans serif. Keep in mind though, you don't want to use anything fancy, okay? Stay away from all the fancy fonts. The other thing, and I didn't mention this here today during the live stream, stay away from like underlining things. Like I do get a lot of resumes where like people are using like underline like crazy. I'm okay with you bolding like your titles or bolding a few things here and there. But if you're using underline, I only use it basically, well, let me just see. Let me pop into this example really quickly. I don't even use it except for, and I don't even consider these an underline. That's like a horizontal line I've just placed on the resume. So it's like a full line, but it's not considered an underline. So I would stay away from that. Good question though on the font. Madre says, Heather just joined. It's okay. Go back and listen to the replay. Let's see. Oh, Valerie asked a really good question. If you are unemployed, do you use language in the past tense? Yes. So I did a resume writing master's class. So by the way, you guys, this wasn't even a master class today. This was just 10 mistakes you're probably making on your resume and how to fix them, those 10 mistakes you need to avoid. But I did a master class. And by the way, if you do register for the toolkit, you actually have access to the master class. That's another bonus training. I didn't even mention that, but you will have access to that. I did a master class where I talked specifically about if you've been laid off because of what's happening, how you're going to format your resume. So yes, you're putting things in past tense. You could even add a line underneath the job title that says something like position eliminated because of department cuts or because of, what, or, that kind of stuff. Let's see. Okay, Valerie, I'm going to answer. I keep seeing you in the chat, Valerie. So that's why I'm picking on you. Valerie says, will the toolkit help me, especially since I am a recent HR graduate with customer service experience and still trying to find the jobs that match my background and experience? Totally. So the toolkit's basically going to get you off and running. Like, it's going to give you the essential tools that you need to get started. So you've got your resume template and examples that you can use, your cover letter, all of your interview follow-up templates. I even include in there, like, let's say you have a position and you received a decline, like you've received a rejection letter. Okay, let's just call it a rejection letter because that's what it is. And you've received a rejection. Inside there's even like a template for you to send a message back to them that's like, hey, you respect their decision, but you still think you're the best fit. You want to keep the door open, because most of the time companies that are hiring for one position are hiring for 2 or 3 or 4. They're hiring. So there might be other opportunities available inside the organization. So there's templates for that. There's your references templates. Oh my gosh, everything. I've put this toolkit together in terms of helping a job seeker that's kind of like feeling lost, that's getting those rejections, that is frustrated, that's disappointed, that's ready to give up, as a quick, just like, you know what? Use this and let's see where you get. Now, I do have other programs. I have my Academy program, and we do coaching every week with them. That's a lot more intense and more time consuming, but my Academy students see amazing results. So that's another option, but the toolkit is a quick way for you to get in and get a quick win, and move forward. And if you need more assistance with your job search or the situation that you're in, and you want to jump into the Academy, or you want to jump into like a coaching session or a resume review, that's all available for you guys. Okay. Now, I only have so many hours in the day. So I can't review everyone's resumes and I can't do coaching with everyone. But we do have all of that available. And it's kind of like first come, first serve, whoever's coming in and taking advantage of that. Then we're here, but we are strained on time a lot. Okay, so Danny says, I'm dumbstruck. I've applied all of your instructions with no response. How can that still happen? So Danny, I would love to see your resume. If you have submitted it for the review before, Tori's asking if you have the toolkit. There's so many, you guys, I have free videos on YouTube that you could watch all day long, and they are so helpful, and they will definitely give you the direction that you need. But the toolkit and the Academy and those resources kind of organize it all for you. And I basically say, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Then step 3, do this. And if we go back to all of those individuals where we get messages every day from that have applied those templates and the resources, we are seeing some amazing success. Let's see. Mark says, I recently obtained a second degree after 20 years in the workforce. Should I put education near the top? I would say, Mark, keep your education at the bottom still, because your work experience is still going to be the most important thing. You could mention, here's the thing that you could do. You could mention at the top of your resume, either in the paragraph or in like a highlight, you could mention the degree. In fact, I would do that. I would mention something about recently received a degree in yada, yada, yada. And hopefully it applies to the industry that you're going into. Awesome. So many good questions, you guys. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in here that I want to quickly answer, or any questions that I might have missed. So Roland asked a really good question. Roland said, what if you have had several different jobs in one company? Would they be different positions and titles? This is such a good question. So I actually did a call with my Academy students a while back where we talked exactly about the same situation, because I had a lot of them in that same boat. What I would recommend, it totally depends on if the position was kind of how the progression happened. So I think you said, did you say, you didn't say 20 years, you just said different jobs in one company, depending on how long that was. So like if you're with one company for 20 years, and if you can in fact, I would highly recommend breaking that out so it looks like you had a natural career progression. So you'd basically list the company name, then you'd list the title, the date, all the good juicy details under it, and then go below that, list the next job title, the date, all the details. Now, if you weren't there that long and it was a shorter position, like let's say 5 years, and you had different positions, you can keep it all under one job, one company, and then you can list the different job titles one right after another, and then list your bullet points. So there's a couple ways. There's like 3 or 4 ways you can do it. It totally depends on how long and what the positions are. Awesome. Good, you guys. I'm seeing a lot of fantastic comments in the chat. So good. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join me today. Remember, we are considering this a holiday flash sale for the toolkit because it is Independence Day here in the United States. So if you guys want to grab this is the last time we're going to be offering the toolkit for this investment that it is today. 2 days if you want to get in. It looks like we've had some amazing professionals jump in and already join us. I can't wait to see you guys put it into practice and to see the results that you get. I'm not hoping, I know that you are going to be the next success story. I'm going to be getting a message from you in the next couple weeks or even the next couple months that's like, Heather, I applied what you taught me. Here's the results that I had. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be featuring your story on my next live stream when we do another flash sale like this again, which I'm not sure when it will be. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions at all, email me and my team at heather@professoroustin.com. We are here to help you guys in this job search journey. Happy Independence Day to all of you guys. Enjoy and stay safe. Hopefully I'll see you inside the toolkit. Okay, we'll chat soon.